Good morning, sirs and ma'ams. I hope everybody had an outstanding weekend. First things first, if you could like, comment, and subscribe to The Right View, I would not mind that. And don't forget to hit that bell notification. It lets you know when I put out new videos. Now, for the story of the day. Channel 4, click on Detroit, did a story on Royal Oak. What's happening in Royal Oak, Michigan? Well, the high school over there decided to open up a Turning Point USA chapter, and the liberals of the school are not happy about it. Let's get to that story. A campus divided.
Tell me a little bit about your experience. You were interested in joining Turning Point USA. Why is that?
I was interested because I was educating myself within the liberals and the Democratic and Republican clubs.
And what has your experience been like the past week?
My experience has been pretty chaotic. Includes a lot of bullying and harassment, and I would say a lot of kids who follow the Turning Point account have been getting that type of feedback as well.
So when did this all go down last week?
Tuesday.
And what happened exactly?
So on Tuesday, it was presented to us on Facebook and Instagram that Turning Point was going to be a club at our school. And from then, Wednesday, people did a walkout early in the morning, and they did a protest through the auditorium and the cafeteria and stood up, and they were debating. And from then, the people who wanted to join Turning Point USA had to leave school because over other 100 students walked out, and without passes or parents signing them out or anything like that. And
now, I watched another interview with this young lady, and the amount of bullying that she got that day, that they decided to open up this chapter in their high school so that they could further educate themselves on liberal policies, Republican policies, conservative values, and, actually get out and talk to one another, because the school literally has a Democrat and an LGBTQ plus community and club, but those are fine. Those are fine for the liberals, but a Turning Point USA chapter is not. Yeah, and she left school early because the amount of bullying that she was getting. Yeah, very interesting.
And from then, I got harassed, posted about, and I would get shoulder bumped during class, and from then it's just been a lot of hatred.
So I'm taking the physical harassment started the next day we went back to school.
Yes.
Were you shocked to be experiencing that?
I was, yes.
What's that been like? Because there's been, you're alleging there's been the physical harassment and there's been the online harassment. What has that been like?
It's been a stressful thing to deal with, but we fight back peacefully. We haven't said any words. We haven't even had our first meeting yet, and so it's been a lot of, we're kind of just not.
Let's look at some of these comments. As a Royal Oak High School parent, this is disgraceful. I'm not sending my kid to school to learn hate. That's not. These people are nuts, right? Turning Point does not practice hate. They don't. It's ridiculous. It tells me that these people have no idea what they're talking about. And when they say that Turning Point is a threat to democracy, they mean it's a threat to their ideals. They're insensitive, hateful, and imaginary ideals. Let's see. My old high school bruh. I'm going to go there to troll the hell out of it. I'll bet. Yeah. Left-wing ideology, been in school. This club is not nonpartisan. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Interesting.
Assuming the comments, but taking a look at them and not reacting back so quickly.
Now, this is terrible here. This is a threat of violence, right? Bruno, you're so tough, but you're going to get kirked tomorrow. Now, Bruno is this young woman's friend, this child's friend in reality, and he's the one that started the club, and immediately, he starts getting death threats against his life. That if that doesn't tell you everything about the tolerant left, I don't know what will.
Some of the comments you've heard from the other side, they're saying, how can we allow a club that is, in their words, not inclusive, and brings up viewpoints that we don't agree with? What do you say to that?
I say that not everyone's going to have the same opinion or views or beliefs. You're not going to find someone who has everything exactly right or perfect. And so I think it's okay to have different beliefs and look at that and see where you stand. And where you stand is just another point to show you don't need to be there, or you don't need to join. If you don't have an interest or you don't believe it's right for you, don't do it.
Do you believe those demonstrations were peaceful?
I think some of their demonstrations were peaceful, but during the protests, no.
Do you feel because you're educating yourself on the different ideological beliefs of the political?
This is what these people don't want on the left. They don't want you to educate yourself. They want them to dictate how you are educated. They don't want you to look into anything that doesn't strictly follow their guidelines of what they stand for. That's a cult. That is a cult. They will cancel you. They will threaten you with violence unless you 100% conform to what they want. And then they'll sit there and call you every name in the book, the Nazi, the fascist. I mean, who's really the fascist when it comes to the left wing and right wing politics?
Political parties that you lean one way or another, because for someone who's saying, I'm just wanting to learn more about something, but yet in some ways that hasn't swayed your interest in wanting to know more about Turning Point USA. Do you feel like you lean one way or another, or are you still in this experimental self-discovery phase?
I feel like I'm still in a discovery phase. I think I won't settle with an opinion until I can vote. And when things are different, people will come in and out of office, time evolves and there's different people, there's different views. Someone from the Democratic Party might have something that I like and I want to vote for them. And so I think it's more about educating yourself within the time period.
Smart young lady.
How you mentioned this is about educating yourself. What sort of lessons have you learned from the past week or so?
I've learned, you got to be careful with what you say, of course, but to never back down, keep fighting, learn that a lot.
Do you feel safe? Do you feel like the school district's doing what they need to do to protect people who have different viewpoints?
I think they're more working under the laws right now, and that's right, of course, but it's not giving everyone clarity. It's not giving everyone a whole statement because, if we weren't at that protest, we didn't hear what our superintendent said. And he did send an email, but some of the email was wrong. And yeah.
What was wrong in the email?
They called it a peaceful protest, and I don't think it's peaceful if there's harassment going on during the protest.
So you are one of the primary organizers of the demonstration we saw last Wednesday?
Yes.
Let's back up a little bit before we got there. What did you catch wind of that was happening on campus?
So on campus, I found out that there's going to be a Turning Point USA organization allowed at our school. Turning Point's a national-wide chapter that spreads conservative views and the same views that Charlie Kirk promoted. And those aren't the things that we promote in our school. We would promote inclusivity and other things like that. And so finding out that that was going to be made at our school it felt like more of a betrayal. A lot of the posts online, because there was a post made on Instagram, because that's how they promote the clubs, they said on their post that they were creating a Turning Point Chapter USA at our school, and a lot of the comments were already mad about it, and none of them seemed to be doing anything. And so I was like, I can take matter into my own hands, and I organized a walkout, and I made that post around 7 p.m. and it got circulated within the next 13 hours.
So my freedom of speech is okay, but yours isn't. Conform to us. We're going to walk out. We're going to cancel you. The people that were commenting on the Instagram post with the nasty comments were all liberals, guaranteed. And of course, the nerd here comes in as a demonstrator for whatever reason.
That I ended up having a
Inclusivity.
lot of people see that post.
You created the post on Tuesday?
Created the post on Tuesday night.
So what happened Wednesday then?
So Wednesday, I found out it got organized, it got circulated very wide. And since Wednesday last week was a late start, meaning school started an hour later, it had extra time to circulate. I saw that a lot of people were like, are we doing this? Is this actually happening? And a lot of people were like, yes, we're going to do it. And I had several of my friends messaging me being like, I know that's you. Are we going to do it? And I was like, of course we'll do it. And so first hour.
I know that's you. So she did it anonymously. But all of her friends knew that it was her, the social justice warrior here.
Hits, we get to class, all of my friends are at their class, and then the bell rings, and that's when I decided we were all going to walk out, so that way they knew we were here and knew we didn't stand for what they stood for, because everyone would be leaving after they were seen. And so we all left, but it was raining outside, so we went inside to the cafeteria area, and that's where we stood and had about 70 people at the beginning of the day. I talked about how Turning Point USA is not good for our schools and to have it in here, and how it creates hate and discrimination in a place that should be valued with a lot of love and inclusivity. And
that's how you know these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Turning Point USA is the most inclusive group. They don't care if you're left, right, gay, straight. They'll welcome you with open arms for open debate. That's what these people don't want.
The principal came in to talk to us about it for a while. He talked about how he researched the club and how it didn't say it said anything hateful. And we talked to him then about did he look any further? Like, we understand what's on the website, but you're not going to put that you're a hate group on the website. And so we told him to look up stuff Turning Point has done, Turning Point has promoted. And he said that he didn't look that up. And I do understand, because he only had 13 hours to do so, and he did probably sleep within those 13 hours. So he probably didn't have the most time to do that.
So this woman thinks she's the smartest person out there. She's probably like, 16 or 17? But she thinks she has all the answers.
Which I do understand. I just feel as if you're going to allow an organization in your school, you should research it a lot of time, because it doesn't take a process to get clubs like.
I guarantee if you asked her any questions about what Charlie Kirk stood for or what Turning Point stands for, she wouldn't be able to answer them without the 15-second clips that she's seen on the internet in the past, months since Charlie Kirk's assassination. I guarantee her family and her friends were probably celebrating his death as well.
Published and allowed in schools. It has to be gone through.
Allowed in schools.
So I feel as if that research should have been done.
Let's fast forward to the superintendent. When did he get into the mix and what actually happened?
So the superintendent came to our school around 10 a.m.-ish or beforehand, and he said that he wanted to have a conversation with us. And so for a while we were having a short conversation in the lunchroom, but it wasn't really productive because everyone was around him and we couldn't exactly hear each other. And so we moved to the auditorium where we got on stage and we talked for about half an hour. We were told that he was going to answer our questions, but mostly he spent the time talking about policy and not actually helping us, which I do understand, as you can't exactly push boundaries being such a big part of the community and being the superintendent for the school. But I believe allowing that something in your school when you are the face of this, every school in the district, isn't something you should allow. I feel as if boundaries should have been pushed, and they honestly weren't.
So where do you go from here now?
Once again, allow. She doesn't want freedom of speech. She wants her freedom of speech, and she mentions the word inclusivity, but doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. Monitor your freedom of speech. She stands for the same thing that Kamala Harris stood for.
So from here, we will then go to the Turning Point USA meetings and see if they promote what they talk about. And if they don't, then we'll report that. And same with the teacher, too. If the teacher says anything, because she's not supposed to intervene. She's just supposed to have the space in the club to give us the room. And if they do intervene, we'll be able to report that to the superintendent and the school to hopefully get that club shut down. And then we also plan to going to the student board meeting, and we plan on talking out about how we feel about that club in our group. And we'll plan on then monitoring what the club says and does to make sure it follows the guidelines.
Democrats.
And if they do slip up, which honestly we bet they will, we will then report it and see what happens from there.
There's a lot to unpack there. I have spoken to a member of the Turning Point USA club here at Royal Oak High School, and she's alleging that there has been online harassment and physical harassment.
Everything that is happening there is not what we stand for keeping our voices and students, not numbers. We stand to have an honest conversation with that. And people who are harassing them, I do not believe that should be happening, and I do apologize for any physical and online harassment.
I guarantee she is the exact person that does want these people bullied. They want them bullied out of existence. She's a liar, first of all. And she does want this group canceled. She doesn't want their freedom of speech to be anything that exists.
That is not what we stand for. We just stand to have inclusive community and in our area. And anyone that is hating is actively going against what we're trying to promote. And they don't feel like that they are actually trying to do what we asked from the community. Anyone that's promoting hatred and hating on these people, I believe they understand what's going on, but they're not doing it the right way. I believe that having an actual communication with these people, like we are the high school students that, and mostly like juniors or up, we should be having that communication instead.
So some students are aware of some of those claims, correct?
Yes.
I see.
I've made several posts that we do not promote that. I've made several posts that we do not promote hatred or attacking them, that we just want to make sure that the places we are in are safe and have like inclusivity and not going to cause a divide in our community. We want to make sure that everyone has the right to be able to say what they want, but that the organizations in our school keep us safe too.
Some may say...
What's that saying? If you trade freedom and liberty for safety, you deserve neither. So this woman just wants safe spaces, but what safe spaces really are, it's just a place to bring like-minded people or people that are kind of out there and brainwash the shit out of them so that they believe exactly how you think. They don't promote inclusivity, as this young woman continues to say. Just because you say it doesn't make it true.
When you touch on the subject of inclusivity, the idea of trying to shut down a club doesn't sound very inclusive. What do you say to an argument like that?
I say to the argument is that we're not trying to shut down the club. We're trying to shut down Turning Point USA, the chapter, that national organization that has put several students and professors in danger. They have put professors in danger by creating...
We're not trying to shut down the club. We're just trying to shut down the club.
A Turning Point USA, like professor watch list. They dox professors who speak about liberal ideas as of race and other policies. And
they dox professors who speak about liberal ideas. No, that's not true. They dox professors who celebrated the assassination of Charlie Kirk. See, this woman stands for everything that the Democrats stand for. She's so lost in the sauce out there that she doesn't even understand how retarded she sounds. She doesn't know. She thinks she's the party of love. Meanwhile, trying to cancel freedom of speech and a Turning Point chapter. It's insane.
They have brought students to dangerous areas and brought in people into schools that are dangerous, like Kyle Rittenhouse, who has put several people in harm. I am not against shutting...
Kyle Rittenhouse. Fuck. These people are nuts. Kyle Rittenhouse was protecting a building where he was then attacked by a bunch of pedos, right? He was shot at. Then he ran away. They chased him down, tried to murder him, and he defended himself. He didn't put anybody at risk. The people the criminals that were burning down buildings are the ones that put people at risk. Freaking George Floyd riots. Give me a break. I guarantee this woman probably has a picture of George Floyd on her wall.
Down their club. I'm against shutting down the Turning Point USA chapter in our school.
I see. Okay, and speaking of doxing, someone also mentioned that some people's information has been doxed as well on the other side. You are doubling down and saying that's not what we stand for?
That is not what we stand for, and that is not what we should be doing. That is just promoting the hate that we do not want in our community and making it happen. It is not going to help us get this conversation going if we then put fear in other people's minds.
Leilani, what am I missing? What are some final takeaways? What do you want to make sure is included in this story?
I want to make sure that everyone knows that we are trying to have an actual communication and conversation here, an honest communication, and not just one-sided debating. And I want to make sure that everyone knows that no matter...
Actual, honest conversation, not just one-sided. That's exactly what they're trying to do here. They only want their voices out there, and they want to limit expression and opinion, right? I mean... These people spew their lies and their BS as if it's true, and they cancel what's actually true out there. Interesting.
What is said and what is done, our main goal is to be kind and inclusivity and inclusive, and to make sure that our community stays safe. I understand that other people may have their different ideas, but that is not what we stand for. I want to make sure that it is known that we do not stand for hatred on either party, and we want to make sure we stand for inclusivity and kindness in our community, like is promoted all around our school.
Yeah, of course, the high school doubles down. Inclusive. All right, now the main takeaway from this interview here was inclusivity. Yeah. this She said it so many times, and like I said earlier, just because you say it doesn't make it true. She literally contradicts herself so many times. Yeah, we want an inclusive environment as long as it does not include a group from Turning Point. She said, we don't want to cancel the group. We just want to cancel the chapter. We don't want this in our school. She said, yeah, we like everyone's freedom of speech, just not theirs. Just not theirs. Can she not hear herself talking? That is insane to say these things out loud and then say that you stand for inclusivity, love, and kindness, along with freedom of speech and your right to have a chapter in a school that talks about your beliefs, but at the same time it contradicts herself, saying that, well, yeah, we do believe in this, but not for them. And I think that is, well, that's the basic Democrat Party right now. I mean, this woman is so brainwashed, probably by the mainstream media and her parents, more than likely. I mean, Royal Oak, is this a liberal area, or is it, I guarantee, so most cities that you go to are going to be liberal. And it's very interesting that they want to dictate how the rest of us live. I live in the country. I live out in the boondocks, right? Out in the middle of nowhere. I like it that way because peopling is difficult from time to time. And man, what I couldn't stand to live in a city right now, especially how divided our country really is between politics. There used to be a time where people could have opinions and debates and just walk away thinking, you know what? I respect that person's opinion and I respect their beliefs, and I'm not going to mess with them. In today's society, they literally want you gone if you believe anything other than what they believe. We live in a unique time where no one can just mind their own fucking business anymore. They have to dictate how you live and how you respond to anything. The left is always right and you're always wrong. Now that is what I have for you on this beautiful, beautiful Monday. I found that interview to be very interesting, so I figured I'd share it with you fine people, you fine patriots. So thank you for tuning in to The Right View. If you haven't commented yet, just leave an American flag or a hand salute, or let me know what state you're tuning in from. I wouldn't mind. Well, I like reading the comments. I really do. I read all the comments. The heinous comments that I get calling me names I don't normally respond to, well, sometimes I do, but just with laughing emojis because they crack me up. They really do, calling me Nazi and fascist and racist and all this and that when they know nothing about my character or anything like that. They just see somebody that's Republican and automatically assume that person must be a white supremacist. These people are nuts. They're out of their mind. But that is what I have for you on this beautiful, beautiful Monday. Please get outside. Do some PT, hydrate, and change your socks. I'll talk to you in the next one. All right, bye.